What does it take to be a successful entrepreneur? A dangerous amount of coffee and a ton of grit. My name is Jason Tracy, and every week I interview business leaders to share their stories, life lessons, failures, and advice with you. Welcome to Coffee and Grit. Let's freaking go. What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Grit, and I'm super excited about this episode. This is a different one. So I just turned 45 a couple weeks ago and celebrated it with a really kick-ass workout at 5:30 in the morning. I didn't think I'd ever see myself waking up at 5:30 in the morning to work out, but it was an awesome, incredible experience. And something we've talked about in a few episodes recently is, as entrepreneurs, as difference makers, we've got to be able to take care of ourselves. We've got to take care of ourselves both mentally, physically, in order to be able to make that difference in the world, in order to be able to go out and, take care of others and, again, make our mark. If we're not fueling ourselves and growing ourselves and taking care of our bodies, then it's going to all come crashing down. Mike Noonan talked about it a few episodes ago when he's talking about being 43 and running a successful business and having a stroke. We talked about it. James Lipton's talked about, being diabetic, 80 pounds overweight, and just, all these things that happen. And so I've got a group here today, F3 Nation, that they are on a mission to plant, inspire, grow workout groups of men, free groups that get together and support and just really the military style workouts. Again, I got to experience it firsthand. I'm going back. I'm slow. I was so pumped after going. And again, I am not a morning person. And I thought it was going to be so difficult to get up, and I got up rolling, and that whole day I was on fire. I thought I was going to crash at 3:00, and it just didn't happen. And so big inspiration. But I've got Sam LaGrow and Jeff Ogden, so AKA Schlitz Dinghy, and we'll explain more of that as we go into it. But welcome to the studio, guys. It's a pleasure having you in.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about, your guys' experience. How did you get involved with F3?
Sure. So I was living in Chicago at the time, and had moved out to the suburbs of Chicago in Geneva, and I was looking for a gym. The guy that lived across the street from me was an ex-Green Beret, and he was clearly in shape. So I was like, "Hey, what's a good gym?" Good guy to ask, exactly. And he said, well, I don't really use the gym, but you can come work out with me. And I was like, well, that really wasn't what I was looking for. And he's like, well, it's outside. And I'm like, this was the middle of March. So in Chicago in March, it's not exactly ideal weather. And I was like, okay, that's kind of strike two, And then he's like, and it's at 5:15 in the morning. And I was like, holy cow, that's strike three. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I'm going to give this a shot. And I went, and what blew me away was there was a guy that was really old dingy. He was 65, and he kicked my butt. I mean, he was so far ahead, and his cardio, his strength, and everything. And I was like, this is impressive. And so it grabbed me, because there was, just from that first moment of seeing somebody from all walks of life, and they're in shape, and they were, giving each other, encouragement, but crap at the same time. And it was this kind of like brotherhood that is really hard to come by, especially for guys, I think, and moving into a new place. And the experience from the get-go was pretty incredible. So it sucked me in, and I am not a morning person at all. And I find myself getting up, 5-6 days a week. And I'm even a little bit further. So I drive 20-25 minutes to get to the workout. So I'm up at 4:30, 4:45, depending on where I'm going. So turned from not a morning person to a lot of times I just wake up, in anticipation of right before my alarm. So it's really changed my life in so many different ways. It's just been incredible.
Well, mine's a little different. Was in the military, 34 years. So I retired in 14. So I was working from home. And during the pandemic, I was just working out in my gym. And I've always done something, biking, running. But literally I was getting depressed because working out by myself in the basement. So my men's group from church, a lot of guys, all different ages, started talking about this F3 thing, and I was like, yeah, I am a 10-hour a night guy sleep. 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one. This is like the reoccurring theme.
And I said, I am not getting up at 4:30 because I had, so the group, my men, the friends of mine, they had this group, F3, and it took a couple months. I'm like, no, but not realize what I needed it. Finally, I said, get off my back. Great. I got shamed. I showed up. Didn't know what to expect. They hand me this cement block, as Schlitz said, 5:30 in the morning, dark. I was like, oh my gosh, there's about 20 guys there, and I was just destroyed. I literally almost lost it. Plugged through. I went home, and the funniest thing is I got my nickname Dinghy. And I went home, my wife says, what's your name? They said, they call me Dinghy. And she said, that's just mean. You go back and tell them you want a different one. True story. I said, I don't think it works that way. So I think my pride kicked in. I think the next day, I don't think I could walk. I just pushed myself well beyond what I did normally in my gym. And I went back and I said, no, and I got hooked. As Schlitz said, I got hooked. It's like, next thing you know, I'm setting my alarm, I'm up. And then it got to the point where I didn't even need my alarm. I was getting up and would just kind of show up. And what drew me there more than just the working out, because that was part of my culture for all my career, was just getting to know the guys. And so I did that in May of 21 and been doing it ever since.
Wow.
And that was in the St. Louis area where I originally, Schlitz was in Chicago and I was in St. Louis. So then I moved here a year and a half ago. And then we connected.
I was gonna say, did you guys know each other before that, or
No.
just no?
No, in fact, I moved back and I tried starting it originally. Moved back from Chicago to Brighton, and it's hard to convince guys that, hey, come out.
Yeah,
And, 5:15 or 5:30 in the morning, and You'll like it. You'll love it.
You'll love it, I
me.
promise.
You'll love it. I promise. It's snowing out. The crazy thing is I feel like you get to the point where you look forward to the worst days. So if it's like a blizzard out, you're like, all right, here we go. Because you get that picture of a bunch of guys out in the middle of a snowstorm. Your face covered with snow and everything, and you're working out, and there's just something that's hard to put your finger on that makes it like, you're like,
it's a shared experience.
It is. And you pretty much, you're like, I can do anything. That's the hardest part of your day, and if I can do that, I can do anything. And it takes all those doubts of, oh, I don't want to go work out. It's raining. It's like, no, that's not even a question. And we have a little thing on our thing that says what the weather is, like on our website when guys, hard commit. We can talk about that too. But when you commit to going to work out the next day, and we have the weather on there, and it's like, it doesn't matter.
Who cares?
It doesn't really matter, because if it's a perfect 60-degree day, or if it's if it's raining in 34, you're still going to be out there. So it's kind of a unique thing, I guess.
Yeah. When I moved here, I knew there was no F3 here in the southeast region of Michigan, and I just said, I need it. I need to continue. So the F3 Nation organization has an outreach leader. So I reached out to him and said, I want to start one. What do I do? And he goes, funny thing is, I talked to this guy named Schlitz, and he's kind of looking the same thing. So we set up a phone call between this outreach leader and Schlitz and I, and that's how we met, on the phone. And he's like, I want to do it. I said, I want to do it. What do we do? And we picked a date, and January 7th, 2023 was day one at Coleman Park down just off Brighton, off exit 55, Silver Lake Road. And we showed up, the two of us. There were two other guys in the area that were doing it. They came to support us out of Rochester. And then we had 4 FNGs, friendly new guys, 4 guys who saw.
I was wondering what FNG was. I know I had to announce myself as FNG.
You're an FNG.
Yeah, okay.
We'll go with friendly.
So these 4 guys who saw the social media work showed up. 2 of them never came back, and 2 others are still with us to this day. So that would be Snow Angel and Appleby. So we started in the dark, cold in January.
We had thought about possibly waiting because we're like January. Like, are we really going to get guys in January? We're like, no, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Because essentially it was like, we're going to do it for each other too. Like, so it doesn't matter if it was just him and I out there. You know, we were going to do it anyway. So even if it was just the two of us, we both had experienced it before. And so we were both like, we're not going to put this off until spring, until the weather gets better. We're doing it now. And it turns out that was a great idea because we got a couple guys. And, you know, there's a lot of guys in January that they decide, you know, their New Year's resolution, we're going to do this and I'm going to get better. Yeah. So I'm going to go out and give it a shot. And luckily for us, we got a couple guys and it's grown from there. So it's been fantastic.
How did those two guys hear about it, or those four guys, I guess, even?
In my social director, I'll put a plug in for my amazing wife. She
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Cindy, she literally puts votes. If you look on the back of which one shirt? The shirt that he has on has the logo for F3 Southeast Michigan, and actually she created the logo. So she put, what about Brighton, how, all the different areas. The funny thing is that, so we were going good for about a month, and we decided to move over to our site we were at now, which is Holy Spirit Catholic Church, which is right over down in Brighton. And then Schlitz comes one day and says, I'm moving. And I'm like, oh. So he ends up moving from up to where he's up now, near Fenton. And at the same time, Snow Angel's like, I'm going to nights, so I can't be here in the morning. And I'm like, okay, there's two people down. What do we get to do this year? But
was the group like four at this point?
Four? Yeah, like maybe six.
We had grown it a decent amount. And, when you get into Snow Angel brought a lot of guys in.
Every week he was bringing somebody.
He was a nurse at the time at the VA. And then he moved over to Ann Arbor. So he had a good group of like guys who know about health and know about working out. And so he brought quite a few, and that was tough for sure. I was driving. I moved out to Clarkston, so I was driving from Clarkston down for a couple weeks.
It's like 45 minutes.
At 4:30 in the morning. It's a lot. It's a lot. But there's a great group of guys down in both spots now.
So he said, I think I want to start something up near Fenton. So that was our first expansion. So within only a couple months, we had 2 sites, and today we've got 7 officially on the map that got little flags in them and are planted. We've got an 8th one down near Dexter that they're working on it. They're working on just starting that one up. So it you kind of like, you just get going. But he said, Schlitz was like, we gotta we put this out for other guys. There are so many men in our community that don't even know they need this.
Yeah.
And he was right. I just laughed because we one of the first workouts we had was in the January of 23. We showed up with about 13 inches of snow. So I took my truck. We ran some circles and donuts and lines in the parking lot of the church. So we at least had some ruts to bear crawl and run around back and forth, and it just becomes an adventure every day. And so I said I live right next door to our site, so it takes me about 30 seconds to get there.
Funny how that works, right?
How that worked out. So
half hour for me and 30 seconds for somebody.
But it has taken off from there. I was trying to think driving here. I don't want to underestimate or estimate, but I think we've got probably 60 to 80 guys.
Wow. So 120 have come through with the and signed up on our Slack, so those are guys who have at least said, okay, I want to come back.
Yeah.
And it's probably about that. I mean, any day of the week you get, between, well, it depends. It can be up to 15 guys at a workout. It all depends. Some guys can only make a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and other guys are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or whatever it is. But we have something every day of the week except for Sundays, which gives there's plenty of opportunity. And the reason for 5:15 or 5:30 in the morning really is so that there aren't any excuses, because I can make any excuse anytime after that.
Yeah.
If it's 9 in the morning, it's like, oh, I got to take my kids to school, or I got to do this, got to do that. But when you're at 5:15 in the morning, it's like nobody else is, like, you don't have a meeting. Maybe you were up late, but there's been plenty of times. My brother-in-law was in the night before last, and I had already committed, during the day, and we ended up staying up till like 12:30 just talking, and I'm like, I got to be up in 4 hours, but I already committed. So it's like, if I didn't have that, there's no way that I would be going and working out that next day.
It's that commitment and that brotherhood.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what really, I think the money part of it is that you are committing to the other guys, and you're doing it for yourself. You're the betterment of yourself. And that's first and foremost. That's what gets guys out, right? You want to get better. And then you kind of stay for the betterment of your family, and the betterment of, you're becoming the leader of your family. You're doing it for your wife and your kids. And then you're also doing it for the guys that are there. And the guys that are there are really what kind of keep bringing you back. And then, it's the whole community. We try and do community events as much as possible. And that's something that we really are striving to get even better at, where we can really become leaders within the community, because that's what it's all about, is doing better for ourselves, our families, our communities, and everything in between. So that's,
Yeah, it's the F3, which is the fitness, fellowship, and faith. As Schlitz said, fitness, that's the magnet, they call it, that draws you out, because most guys in our group, they don't want to go to gym, don't have time to go to gym, couldn't find a gym.
Yeah.
And it's so the fitness to better ourselves. But the real draw is once you get out there, it's the fellowship, because we always have some coffee afterwards. We're hanging out, getting to know guys. And the third piece is the faith. Is really, there's no face, all face, or so the faith piece is really the fact that the core belief that there's something bigger than ourselves. We're not working out to flex in a mirror. We're out there to kind of believe that there's something better, there's a better purpose. And so with the faith piece is what's said to be leaders in the community. And once you hard commit that you're going to be there, it's like, if I don't go tomorrow, then I'm letting down this guy who's going to lead it. Yeah. I'm letting these guys down. And so it's just a matter of what draws us in. And that's really the glue, is the piece of being there for one another. There are guys in our group from 19 to 60.
We have a 17-year-old up north. He's going into the National Guard, so he's getting ready. I think he leaves in August, so he's out there getting ready up to. I don't think you're the oldest right now.
No, I'm not the oldest in our group. Okay?
Yeah.
We got a 64. I'm 62. We got 64 guys. But and there is no requirement. This is free.
It's everything in between. So it's from 17 to 60, whatever, and every sort of physical ability between guys who haven't worked out in forever or ever worked out, up to guys that work out every day. And that's one of our things, is we say to modify. So it literally is for everybody. Like you can see guys out there who are like, the Green Beret that brought me in, who is just like, he's just a monster.
Yeah.
But he can be working next to a guy who hasn't worked out a day in his life and still be pushing him. And that's the whole thing. We say we're always picking up the six, which is we're always picking up the guy who needs the push or the help. Everybody's got their unique talents, and you see that different group of guys, where everybody comes from. It's pretty awesome. It's a great experience. It's something that I didn't know I needed. I was used to going to the gym. And my gym experience was like, you go to the gym and you do 10 sets of this, and then you move on to 10 sets or 3 sets of 10 or whatever it is. Yeah. And you just keep doing that. And, it gets boring after a while, but that's how I thought working out was. And this is so much different. It's 45 minutes. We work out up north from 5:15 to 6 o'clock. So you're done. You can go home. You want to stay out and hang out with the guys, you can do that too. But you're working out for 45 minutes. And so that's so different than stopping and if I worked out at the gym, I might work out for an hour, but I'm really probably only working out for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything else is walking to the water cooler or walking somewhere else.
Taking your pause, taking your,
Absolutely. Yep. So this is more of like you're really working out, and you're getting that full experience. And it's what really brought me into it. I think that it's just
one thing you experienced, probably you never experienced a workout with us like you ever before in your life. Every workout, one of our core principles is we lead in a rotating fashion. So everyone who's at the group will eventually sign up and say, I'll lead for the day. And what they're going to bring to the table is what they bring, and what they ask you to do, you do the best you can. And you push yourself. And as Schlitz said, it's like some guys are going to do really well at the running. Some guys are going to do really well at push-ups or sit-ups or burpees. It doesn't make a difference, because one of our mottos is, leave no man behind, but leave no man where you find him. So leave no man behind basically means if you're going to go for a run, you're not going to finish by yourself. Someone's going to come back and finish it. If you're doing burpees and you're going station to station, someone's going to finish first, but someone's going back and bring the last guy. But leave no man where you found them is the second half of that, meaning you will get pushed. Guys will come by and they'll push you because they're not going to leave you to that your mindset where you came in. I can't do this. They're going to
push you out of that comfort zone, but like you can do it.
You can do it, and you will get better. It's just about accelerating. It's just about every day, just trying to be 1% better. So when my very first day, a guy next to me was a good friend of mine in my men's small group, and he's a beast. And I was like trying to keep up with him. And I was like, no. And then I found out that I was last. I literally was the last person to finish this exercise routine. And then I turn, and there's two guys next to me that are bear crawling with me so I can finish to do the last set. So I was like, so it's just a matter of being there for one another. But every workout is different. Everybody will bring in, you can do something. I hate running. I hate it. I've done it all my whole life. But, give me into some high intensity workout and some circuit, and I'm all over it. So it's just a matter of, we've got guys that, it takes courage just to drive up and say, hey, you guys working out? Mind if I join you?
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
Really. We were in downtown Fenton working out last Friday, and we were we have this thing where we say good morning to walkers by, people walking their dog, whatever. And if they wave, or I guess even if they don't, but we do a burpee. So it's called a good morning burpee. And we good morning burpeed this guy, and he got down and did burpees with us. And we're like, what is going on? We're like, what are you doing? Why don't you come join us? And he did. And it was awesome.
That's awesome.
It is very cool. And so he's been back 4 times since then. So he hasn't missed a workout since. He even came up to Grand Blanc and worked out with us up there. So it was like, wow, that is incredible.
That's powerful.
That is powerful. You're working out, and some guy's walking by, and we say good morning, do a burpee, and he joins us. It's like, that's incredible. And he's already brought an FNG and has 2 more lined up. So it's like, there's a need, that people just don't know is there.
I was gonna say, I love how you just said that, because what's in my head is what you said earlier. Is like, I didn't know I needed this. Most men don't know that they need this, and I'm such a big proponent on this show of talking about vulnerability in men, and like having men that pick each other up and lead each other, don't leave each other behind, right? And to have that experience, to have that fellowship, is incredible.
Absolutely.
And that's what I felt like. It wasn't, the workout was great, but it was like that feeling of that brotherhood, that first thing in the morning kept my dopamine level really high throughout the day. And so I can see how it's like when you're getting back.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is so key. It's something that I think guys don't really even think about, like, that there's that stuff that guys can talk about when nobody else is really there, and it is the vulnerability part, and it's like kind of just throwing it out there, like, hey, I got this going on, can you pray for me, or anything, and it's that vulnerability that and none of us like to talk about it. And I'm sure, like, the guy, even if I were talking about it like I am now, like, guys are like, no, that's not, because you don't want to kind of admit to that. But it's nice to have a spot where you can just talk about stuff. And a lot of it is how to make themselves better for their wives and how to make themselves better for their families. And, that's a big component of what is talked about. And it's all like things that are really positive in helping each other out and getting guys going, getting them moving, keeping them moving, keeping them motivated. And, when like, Dinghy's been out for a couple weeks. I was out in March with a hurt knee, and it's like that keeping guys involved and keeping them wanting to come back, even though they're injured or sick or whatever. Like it's powerful, and it's something that I think a lot of guys just don't realize that they need. And it's really hard to find somewhere.
I was gonna say, where do you find that?
You can't.
And then you say, oh, by the way, it's free.
And it's free, right?
Yeah, it's like there's the core principles. We would be remiss. It's free. Number one.
You talk about removing all the excuses.
So
I can't afford it.
No, it's free.
Right.
It's open.
So it starts with it's open to all men.
All men.
All men, regardless of physical ability, anything. Free, like Dinghy said, and always free. So it's free and will always be free. It's literally you show up.
Just show up. Bring some water and a pair of gloves, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And again, then it's held outdoors, as Schlitz said. Rain, shine, cold, it doesn't make a difference. Number 4 is it's led in a peer rotating fashion. So we rotate, we volunteer. So one guy's every workout's going to be different. But what Schlitz was really hitting, and last thing is the 5th core principle is we always end in a circle of trust. And so the circle of trust means if you lead, you have a couple minutes to talk about whatever you want. It could be something you read. It could be something that's on your heart you need prayer for, as Schlitz said. A leadership issue, a question of financial issue. It could be something that you're struggling with. But the circle of trust is we talk about it for a couple minutes and it stays in the circle. And I'm telling you, when guys recognize that we can be vulnerable I got a question. Why is my wife getting mad at me every day when I do this? It's like, we always give each other counsel and advice and we pick each other, but it's just a matter of you can share what's kind of on your heart. And it's much more than just a physical workout. And as you said, there's different nomenclatures in this, and one of them is, the king, we call the king is the exercise. The queen is your diet, but there's a thing called the jester. So, what's your jester? And everybody's got it. And I want to be pretty open here. It's like, it could be alcohol. There could be an addiction. It could be you're losing your job. It could be financial struggles. Whatever it might be, something is on your heart, and to be able to share that, if you want to, it's fine. You want to talk about the Tigers, then we'll talk about the Tigers and the Lions. On Mondays, we're talking about the football game. Whatever you want to do. It's a matter of being able to share.
Yeah, it's providing that forum that if you wanted it to be there, it could be. It's definitely not. It's not.
No.
It's not a counseling session by any means. But it is a place where you can feel free to you get comfortable with the guys, and then you get. I feel like the last kind of real place where where guys can get friends is kind of college.
Yeah.
You're all at that time, you're kind of all vulnerable and you're in the same situation, and you meet a lot of guys, and then you go to your workplace and you meet guys there, but you have to really have a good work spot to be able to make real good connections and be good friends with people long term. So there is very few opportunities, I feel like, to kind of really get to know guys outside of guys that you grew up with or guys that you went to school with.
As men, it's like the other thing is, if we have kids, their sports or again, it's kind of the people that we're forced into because we met them through these certain circles.
Absolutely. And you get your kids' sports parents that can, kind of share the same ideals. You're at least going to the same places with your kids. So you have that shared interest. And so other than those things, it's pretty tough. It's hard to find that connection with other guys. And this provides, it's interesting because there are people from all walks of life, people who are just starting out, people who are retiring. It doesn't matter what kind of car you drive. You could drive the newest Tesla, or you can be driving an old beater, and it doesn't matter. And that's kind of the thing with the names too. Other than being able to call someone like Mike S, Mike R, Mike whatever, and getting confusing that way, it kind of brings us all on the same page. So it doesn't matter necessarily what you, other than like the experiences you can share with guys, everybody's on the same plane. So whether you're a 17-year-old kid who's just starting out or you're retired, you get a nickname, and that nickname is a lot of times what guys know each other by. There's guys where I don't even know their real names because it's like I know what your F3 name is.
That was the hardest part for me is like, because I'm such a name person, so I'm trying to remember names, and then I'm like, okay, nicknames. I just gotta go after I don't know, which one do you go after?
Which one do you take? And it's usually the nickname, which can provide a pretty awkward situation when you're at the grocery store and you're saying,
and that happened. We went to our guys, Airman and Appleby. They met at Costco, and Appleby comes up and he goes, "Hey," and trying to introduce life. He goes, "This is Airman." Because he didn't know his real first name.
Yeah,
but that's kind of the way it is. And I was going to say is like what he hit the nail on the head is like I moved here, my kids are out of the house.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I'm moving into a new neighborhood, and I was like, I'm a social guy. I probably could carry this podcast, just talk to this microphone without you too, and I'd do fine. But I need some networking, and this is it. And I got things in common with 22-year-old kids.
Yeah.
That if I'd met them on the street, we wouldn't. But now it's like I got a younger brother. And it's really exciting to be able to have that. And said I've known him longest since I've been here. And just
it's cool because you were both new to the area.
Yeah. And it's like I've always been involved, whether it's been church and whether it's been work, and now that I work from home, it is just my brotherhood. And
so I'm actually originally from Michigan. I grew up in the Plymouth Canton area, but I have been in Chicago for over 20 years. So moving back, it is like I am moving back into a whole new area. I didn't know anybody, and it's a blessing to have had that dinghy came in, that we were able to start it, that the whole shared experience. It's been pretty incredible. So
but the big thing is, unless you hear something like this on a podcast, or we invite people, as we call it EH, emotional headlocking. So you put someone in an emotional headlock to try to get them to come. It's just so hard to describe that. It's just show up.
Yeah.
You don't have to prepare for it. You don't have to get in training for it. You just show up.
You show up.
And as you are, and Schlitz said, whether you've been working out all your life or not at all, it doesn't matter. And you're going to be welcomed. You'll be an FNG for a day, and then you get your name. And you may not like it. And so I think part of this, our group is humility, is learn to be humble. And sometimes, I flew helicopters in the Coast Guard, so when I got my name, I thought for sure I'd be Iceman, Chopper, Maverick, something really cool. But no, it didn't work out that way. But it's just a matter of being humble and learning how to just.
So I'm dying to know the story behind Dinghy.
Well, a good friend of mine that was in the Navy, obviously when I was going through my story, at the end of each, if you're brand new, you kind of talk about yourself. And he goes, well, let's be real. He goes, the Coast Guard doesn't even have ships. They got just little dinghies and run around in shallow water. So I became Dinghy, and it fits. And the funny joke is, I think I told Schlitz, I said, when I moved here from St. Louis, I had a fleeting thought to change my name.
Because nobody knows.
Nobody would know. Nobody
You could be Iceman.
I couldn't.
They'd be like, you are a liar. Nobody named you Iceman.
No, but I couldn't. You kind of own it. Sometimes, guys, the joke is if we throw names out, and if the person who's being named goes, "Oh, that's really good, I like it," well, immediately you're not getting that name. So it's just kind of humble us. As I said, we're all on equal ground, equal footing. Just be there to support one another.
We try and have the grandma test too, so you can be able to say the name in front of your grandma
when you're at the grocery store.
When you're at the grocery store, I have. There were some guys in Geneva. One guy was named Ringworm, and one guy was sewer pipes. You're in this grocery store, and you're like, Ringworm. And people are like, what are you talking about? But you really don't remember their name. So
no, but some of the names they just jump out at you, and otherwise it's like, I won't say this, but I grew up a big Ohio State Buckeye fan. So when I was in St. Louis, I would have been Wolverine.
Yeah.
But that name was already taken. So a good friend of mine down there is a huge Michigan fan. His name is Buckeye. So however, I'm converted now because my son and daughter-in-law both graduated from U of M. So I know
It would have fit now.
It would fit now. So it's just a matter of just what fits your personality and what you're doing. Like in how you've got yours espresso.
Yeah.
So it's just, and once you do that, you're part of the brotherhood.
Well, so originally it was Matt Foley, and I'm like, oh, van down by the river, I'll take that all day. And they're like, no, he's too excited about that one.
I really like that one too. I'm going to have to revisit that.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, that one's awesome.
Yeah, we had a guy. One of the guys' name is Sparkler. Kind of grew. He was telling what he did, and really nothing was jumping out. And I forget exactly what we gave him before that, but he was going after we gave him his name. He was looking to do the sign up for the Slack app that we use, and his initials were TNT, and we're like, oh, that's it. So, you're not a stick of dynamite. You're just a little sparkler. So, and he loves it. He's a bigger guy, just jovial, and he's just dynamite, and it just fits him perfectly. So, yeah.
We had a guy in Geneva that was a head coach of a football team. So he was a big, he's a burly guy. And his name was Pom Pom. So if you hear this, Pom Pom, how you doing? But like you get a situation like that, like where the guy in the football team, he got all the other coaches out there, and they grew like so quickly and so amazingly. Like the amount of fundraising they do and charity stuff they do is incredible. And it all comes, from that first couple times. And with a nickname Pom Pom, you can do some pretty amazing things. So it's the nicknames go a long way, and it brings everything together. I feel like I think sometimes it might scare people away because you're like, hey, I'm Schlitz and I'm Dinghy. And they're like, what? I don't know what I just got myself into, but I'm out of here. But it's all in good fun.
But it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It is fun, and it's not to make fun. It's just to let everyone know that.
Something in our nature as men, anyway, is to give our friends nicknames.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to give them crap, right?
And to give them crap.
I mean, it plays a huge part in it. You see someone doing like make-believe push-ups, and you're gonna kind of be like, what are you doing over there? It's just like little jabs that I feel like guys do when they're around each other. It just makes it what it is.
Yeah, I mean, look at the military. I mean, if you're a naval aviator, Top Gun, everyone's got a nickname, a call sign, and it's Gramps. I love Gramps. Is one of our.
He was out today.
He's 23, and he shows up out of nowhere because he sees us. Someone says, "Hey, just try it out," and then we start. He was kind of quiet, and afterwards, he likes old music. He drives an old truck. He listens to lots of old songs, and his Gramps, and the youngest kid.
It fits him so much too.
It does.
He's always complaining about something, and we love him for it. Yeah. So it's kind of cool to do that. It just perfectly fits him. So, yeah.
So how did that? So you guys start it and you get your 4. How do you? I guess that's even still continuing to grow. How do you grow? Get the word out.
So getting the word out is key, and it's really it comes down to each guy, right? Like if each guy can bring 2 guys, and those 2 guys can bring 2 guys, it grows exponentially like that, and it's kind of really just. Putting it out there, I guess, because you never know who you're going to get and who it's going to stick.
Yeah.
I'm not the best at social media. I'm really not on social media at all. Dinghy's wife helped us out there. We got some guys. Swiffer is really into social media stuff, so he puts stuff out there.
Yep.
He's the one that contacted you.
Yep.
So those things help. He actually printed out business cards, so we'll if you're talking to somebody and you kind of mention it. Hand him a business card. I feel it's a little bit. Sometimes it feels kind of like CrossFit was the rage a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And how do you know somebody works out in CrossFit? They tell you.
They
tell you a lot. And nothing against CrossFit at all. I actually CrossFit is good for a lot of things. My brothers worked out in CrossFit, and the difference with this is that I think you get as much intensity you can do it when you're 60, 62, Dinghy.
62 at least. I'm plan on keep going.
So you're not out there like pushing this heavy weight and like, and the propensity for you to get hurt is like that much greater. You're out there making yourself stronger. So.
And it's a good point is push-ups. Not everyone can do a push-up.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference. If you can do a push-up, you do one. If you don't, you do it on your knees. If the leader is saying, hey, we're going to do 20 push-ups and you only do 10, then you do 10.
Yeah.
You modify as necessary and you just continue to push yourself. So it's just something that's the way to push yourselves. But speaking of getting the word out, we have a Facebook page, F3 Southeast Michigan, local Facebook page, so you can look that up. F3nation.com has, it's the national page, and a lot of folks don't realize this, but I think I looked that up today, there's between 85 and 90,000 guys who have signed up or participated in F3, and there's nearly 4,700 locations around the world.
Wow.
So when I travel for work every once in a while, so when I'm traveling somewhere, I'll go on to see if there's an F3 location where I'm going to be. And if there is, then I'll just show up and join them to work.
And same thing here. We get a lot of guys. Detroit, there's a lot of guys from in the auto industry or whatever that are traveling here. So we get guys that come from all over the country, and they'll just reach out. If you go to f3nation.com and there's a location thing on there, and I'll tell you where the locations of anywhere in the country, and there are a couple outside of the country as well, but anywhere in the country, and you put your location and find somewhere close. So there's guys that will drive an hour from their hotel here to be closer to the workout, it says a lot. You get guys in from, we've had California, Texas, like
New
St.
Jersey,
Louis, New Jersey, everywhere. And so guys who just come in, they see that there's some spots in Michigan now, and
that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, in like Dinghy said, you're traveling, you're going somewhere, you can find a spot there. So F3nation.com is a great spot to be able to find the location for everything. And then in terms of getting guys, it's really just kind of everywhere that you can. You're meeting people all the time. So we'll get some guys from social media. Hopefully we get some guys from this. I think it's hopefully they hear about it and aren't scared. I think a lot of guys kind of get weary about what it all involves. Is it a cult? Because we do put an American flag. We put a shovel American flag out there. And it's nothing other than just like that's who we are, right?
Yeah.
And it's I think it was started by some military guys, but Dinghy was Coast Guard, but none of the rest of us. Well, there are some VA guys. We got a lot.
Yep. Some first responders. We got some veterans there. And it said some guys are probably listening to us and going, I just don't want to I just can't just show up. Just show up. We all did it. All of us had that first day. Some got invited, some didn't, some just showed up. Every single one of us was welcomed. Yeah. And again, it doesn't matter if you haven't worked out. You'll get a good workout in.
You get a good absolutely.
And again, I'm going to our buddy Gramps showed up and he hadn't run or anything, and so he would jog and he'd walk and jog, and it's like he just put on social media last week. He just did 5K.
He wouldn't even have thought about doing a 5K before.
No, he didn't care how long it took him. He finished it. And today, if he and I are working out, again, I have a leg issue. I can't run for a long distance, and I don't do it. But so if we start, someone says, "Hey, let's take it for a jog," I'll walk before he does. It's just good. You're gonna get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really something that is built around like guys just making themselves better, and sometimes that gets looked at in a negative way, because it's like, why are those guys getting together? And it's because it's not something that happens anywhere really. And so it's people question the motive sometimes, I guess, but the motive is literally just to make yourself, your family, and your community better. And the tagline of F3 is the invigorate male leadership, and that's something that I think even today, even more so, it's like that is kind of like pushed down. Like you don't want that, and it's something that we're trying to foster because it's important, and guys need it,
Yeah.
and it's nothing against girls. I think women need it as well, and there's a sister program for women. What is
Females in Action?
Females in Action. And I think they need the same thing. You need a forum where you can just talk to women and talk about everything they do. And
because there's a lot on our shoulders, and I think growing up, a lot of men get taught be a man, be strong, take it on. And who do you be vulnerable to? Like to be able to have that kind of circle of trust and be able to say what's on your mind and what you're struggling with, and be around people that can pick you up, but also not leave you where you are.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's not just on the field or the parking lot working out. It's at home. I've been down with an illness for the last 3 weeks. Number one, I'm missing my guys. I'm missing, so I can't wait to go out. But I have been inundated with texts and calls. How you doing? You need me to come cut your grass. What's going on? And we hear someone's just got an injury. It's like, what can we do? It's just so cool to just be able to know that you're going to be supported no matter what. And some guys have fallen off, and we will kind of reach out and go, hey, brother, we miss you. We'd love to have you come back out. And sometimes it's a little bit lazy. Sometimes it's life. Sometimes it's just need to be encouraged. And so there are guys out there, they're probably hearing this and going, man, you need this, whether you know it or not. And we'd encourage you to come out.
Absolutely.
And join us. And we're all over the region. We have to kind of, we go from Dexter, Brighton, South Lyon, Genoa Township, Fenton,
Grand Blanc, Linden, Canton.
So we just opened one in Canton, and we're looking to open one in St. Clair Shores. So it's exciting, and
that's so cool to see it growing.
We started this. Schlitz and I both said, we're going to do this, and we're not quitting, and we're going to give this away. And we wanted to, as long as it's so we are so glad we didn't start in the spring, because by the time the good weather came, the guys started coming out, and we plowed through this past winter, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, and I love how you said at the beginning is like, if you can get through that, like this is the hardest part of your day, you can get through anything.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It really is true, because it puts things, I think it puts a lot of stuff in perspective too, because most of the guys, you come out and you realize like how important family really is, right? And how important everything is with family, and how you're doing it. You come out for selfish reasons, I feel like sometimes, because you're like, I want to make myself better. I'm gonna, and you need that. You do need to get better. But the general like consensus of everyone is like, why are we getting? You're doing this for your family, and you need to get better for your family, and you need to and that's true for a lot of the guys. But not everybody's married. Not everybody has kids, and there's single guys out there too and they need it for themselves, and they need it for like that camaraderie and the looking up to other guys or whatever it is, the help that they need. Everybody needs something, but it really I think keeps everybody grounded, and it's guys from everywhere. It's guys from, we have small business owners, and those are some of the guys that like you can go to and talk to about things like, hey, how did you do this or whatever? And then you got guys in the military, so they have different experiences. Everybody has a different experience, and everybody has different leadership abilities and leadership capabilities, experience, and all of that comes together to really give. It's kind of like a networking thing, but you get the bonus of great guys. You get the bonus of a great workout and everything that comes along with all of it.
And we've got guys that leadership is part of this. As Schlitz said, it's to invigorate male community leadership is part of our motto. And there are guys who are first responders. There are guys who are medical professionals, veterans, and everyone has had a different type of leadership experience and training. Some guys scared to death to lead a workout.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
every single one
It's
of
been
us,
a question in my mind that I want to get back to, so I'm glad to bring this
every
back
single one of us had day 1, day 2, day 3, and we were told this is what you're going to do for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Some of us had that told to us our entire career, and we didn't like that, but it's a matter of being able to follow. And then once you're able, when you're encouraged, you can lead a workout, and you can lead men. And it's some guys have never done that before. So some guys have done it their entire career. So it's just a matter of providing the opportunity, because no matter who's leading, I'm following. It's like no matter if it's their first time or they've been doing it 3 or 4 times a week, I am following. And I'm like, where are we going? And I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to bring my brothers with us. So it's an exciting piece for some guys, young and old, to get up there in front of other guys and just go, I'm going to lead you the best I can. And they can do that at a workout. They can do that for their kids, for their spouses, for their businesses, their communities. It's exciting.
This is beautiful, and it's like one of those things is like, how do you gain confidence? Through taking action. And when you were talking about earlier that everybody leads, that was one of my thoughts initially, like right away, is how many men have never been in that position to lead? And, I'm sure there's a freak out of, oh shit.
There's that definitely happens. I feel like there's...
but the growth from that,
Yeah.
But yeah.
100%. Because there's been guys that, don't sleep on their VQs, where it's like, I didn't sleep last night. And it's like, it's okay, But then there's guys who just naturally fall into the role, and everything in between. And it fosters a great leadership, because you get out there and it is intimidating when you get out and you're trying to lead, however many, 10, 15 guys through a workout, and all eyes are on you. It teaches you a lot about yourself, and it teaches you a lot about how you deal under pressure, and you grow from it, and it's I remember my VQ, and I remember I didn't sleep, because it's like, all right, I'm going to do this, but then I'm going to do that, whatever. Yeah. And you get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I feel like that is along the way of everything. Being comfortable with the uncomfortable is huge, because it's working out. It's being uncomfortable outside. It's being uncomfortable with the weather. It's being uncomfortable with leading, and getting comfortable with that. Because the more that you're just comfortable you stay in your lane, you don't get out of that 500%. Comfort zone. Yeah, you find yourself in a rut, and putting yourself in a situation where you're going to be uncomfortable. It's not comfortable, obviously, and it you can't grow without that.
You can't grow without it.
No. You've got to push. You got to push yourself. And how many times have we had guys will show up and they've got cards or pieces of paper, and they're trying to organize work. And we're like, okay, where does this go? And then about 10 minutes later, I'd be yelling out, what in the world were you thinking last night? It's hard. Like, what kind
the evil mastermind they put together.
What kind of evil plan did you put together today? But you finish it. And I always tell guys, like, at the end of 45 minutes, when I'm saying to myself, thank goodness that's done, that's a great workout. And that's what we shoot for. And it's really cool to see someone step up, and then they go, I'll do this again next week. So it's a cool thing. And we've been able to see it from the beginning and see some of these guys grow to the point where, they probably could have done this a lot better than us.
Yeah.
But we got some great guys, and we want guys to come out and meet them.
How amazing is that to watch men grow into positions of leadership?
It's, again, my career being in the military. It's like, you watch someone come in from boot camp or from OCS or they're at a new unit, and you learn and you see them grow. But you got to be a follower first. Everyone has to follow first. But to see them step up, and you're like, whoa, I did not expect that, because he's been here for about a month or 2 months, and he hasn't said 2 words.
Yeah.
Quiet. And all of a sudden he's barking out commands, and he's telling us what to do. And I'm like, yes, sir, let's go get it. It's exciting, no matter what their age is. And we got guys. When I was in St. Louis, we had a guy who was in his 70s that would come out, and we're like, okay, workout's going to be a little bit different, because he's going to tailor it, but you push yourself, and it's like, this is so cool. And the next thing you know, I've got one of the mid-20 guys who's, a triathlete. I was like, okay, here we go. So it's just exciting to see the breadth of growth that you see with guys.
And you see the different leadership, abilities and the way that people lead. And you can learn, you're learning every day, and you learn a lot from new guys that come in, and you learn a lot. You never stop learning. So when you see the guys and how they led or how they did a workout or anything like that, it's awesome to see. And so many guys can lead in so many different ways, and it's something that I don't know. It's something that is really cool to see, because, like you said, you see guys leading that when they came, you were like, you didn't even think that they were gonna. They may not show up the second time, yet 4 or 5 months down the road, and they're the lead workout guy. Like, they've been there the most, and they've led the most workouts, and it's pretty powerful. I think in their lives too, it is pretty life changing. Like, you go from a kind of quiet, introverted guy to somebody leading other men who, a lot of them are not, introverted at all. So, they're very strong personality guys, and to have other guys leading, it's amazing. It's very cool to see, and it tells you anybody can do it. In their own way.
When they're given that platform.
Absolutely.
And what's exciting is when I show up in the morning, I'm like, what are we going to do today? Every workout is different. And you can find the ingenious initiative of guys who come up with them, like, what? You don't think how many body exercises you can do, but it's quite amazing when guys put workouts together out of just what they think about it. And some do games. We usually on a Saturday, we got guys who'll show up, and one guy created a game called Soriopoly. It's like Monopoly in a parking lot. And, you pick up your coupon and you're rolling the dice, and you go to this spot, you do an exercise, and you continue. You're playing Monopoly on a human-sized board. It's just the coolest thing. So we've just done some really neat things. This Saturday, we're having a convergence. So all the sites, we're bringing them all together at one location. And we're going to do probably a mini workout, and we're going to play kickball. And just kind of have fun with food and coffee afterwards, and just get all the guys to get to know each other a little bit better. So
we do have the fun aspect of working out.
Absolutely.
The guys bring a lot of fun into it. So that's huge.
And guys will bring their kids. We got workouts that guys will just bring their kids that are 12, 11, 13, 14, and it's father-son time. They give them maybe a half of a coupon or a brick to work out with, but it's all about and they're leading their kids, and that's quality time. So
and there's you get creative, because the only weight we have is the coupon, which is a regular cinder block. So you carry the cinder block around, and it's impressive how much a cinder block can weigh after a 45-minute workout.
Impressive, yeah. I work out 5 times a week, and it was like, I remember there was part of the video that I took. It was like, it's these shoulders holding it up over my head, and the walks. It's really burning my shoulders.
Absolutely. And so, and you get creative, because a lot of the AOs, the spots where we're working out, have playground equipment, and there's a lot of stuff you can do on that. You got we did one workout where it was. The floor is lava, so you had to do pull-ups on one side, go across the monkey bars to the other side, and then we did reverse rows, and then you had to go back and do the same thing. And you can get creative with a lot of stuff that's out there, your own body weight, and there's so much you can do. And then we also have rucks, where guys will put on weighted vests and work out in weighted vests. And if you had 25, 30 pounds to a vest, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, you're gonna start feeling it. You do push-ups with a couple extra pounds on you, and
you're gonna feel it.
You're gonna feel it. So,
how do guys come up with workouts? Is there
So a lot of it is like from what other guys have done, but you can literally go online and look up an F3 workout, and it will list workouts from all over the country.
Okay.
But there's also F3 Nation F3Nation.com has a they call a lexicon. So when we talk to each other, a lot of different terminology for regular workouts. So the terminology can get a little bit weird. So like a jumping jack is a side straddle hop.
Push up is a merkin.
Push up, yeah. Don't look that up though.
No?
What a merkin
Okay.
is?
Yeah.
I'm not going to
I haven't,
Google it.
but I've heard that you shouldn't look it up, so I just haven't. So there's different names for all the different stuff. And then they also have an lexicon. So it's different names for different, I guess that would be the
exercises.
The exercises.
Yep.
The lexicon is like different names for different, like what a cue is. The cue is the guy that leads the workout. The packs, there's still a lot of stuff I don't really know. The coupon.
A him. So if you're a him, it's a high impact man. So the individual group is made up of high impact men, and all of them together create what we call the packs. So there's just different lingo for that type of thing. So the packs will do this, and as I mentioned earlier, the king. If you talk about the king, that's your exercise. The queen is your diet. There's just so many different things that kind of don't make a whole lot of sense, but it's just brought up. But to answer your question, as he was saying, guys will just go into the lexicon, and there's thousands of exercises, and you can just put a couple together and say and it's whatever you want to do. We're gonna jog for a minute, and then we're gonna do exercises for a minute, and we're gonna jog for 2 minutes, then we're going to do exercises for 2 minutes. Whatever guys want to do. I came up with a baseball game. So you have baseball dice, and you just roll a dice. Whenever the dice, that depends on when the base you go. And when you get to that base, flip a card over, and it tells you what exercise to do. There's just so many different things that you can create and do it. And then that is part of the fun because you never know what's going to. And then the guy whoever's the cue, whoever's leading, will just kind of say, we have things. It's called recover. So if he's doing an exercise and he says recover, then you're done with that part. But you're like, oh, we're done. And now you go to, you're right into the next part. So until you hear recover twice in a row, you're still working out. So it's just a matter of you don't know what's going to come next, which makes it exciting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like I said, different places around the country that have different things, and there's one, the Iron Packs. So they have an Iron Packs challenge in September, and they come up with a lot of the more difficult side of workouts, and then and that's every September, I think. And I think last time there was about 5,000 guys that signed up for it, and everybody puts their times on it, and so you'll get to see how you compare with different guys across the country. And
that's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The whole idea of the workouts though is it's all you versus you.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
some guys I killed it in this, and they want to see where the competitives.
Yeah.
Exactly, and you want to see where you stack up, and it's extremely humbling to see like, all right, I think I killed that, and you see like a guy who's in his 50s or 60s down in somewhere else that just kicked your butt. And you're like, okay, that puts you in your place,
Yep.
And it's good to see. It gives yourself some motivation.
Because it's competing with yourself, but it's also removing limitations. It's like going back to Roger Bannister and the 4-minute mile, right? You don't think it's possible until you see somebody else doing it. And
absolutely.
You can give yourself all the excuses in the world, being 45 or being whatever age, and then you see somebody else that's 60 or 62 that's going out there and doing it, and you're like, why can't I? I should too. I should be able to do it too.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that definitely that makes it crystal clear. Yeah.
But when you show up, it's like I haven't been up in Fenton in a little while. So if I show up tomorrow or Friday when they work out, there's going to be some new guys I've never met, and it doesn't make a difference. After a couple minutes, be like, I've known them. They're going to just be part of the brotherhood doing the workout. So
yeah, it's
just really. And one of the things is one of the words called fart sack, and is if you commit that I'm going to be there tomorrow and something comes up, whether you hit an alarm, you sleep through the alarm, and once you wake up and you realize you miss a workout, you're like, I can't believe I didn't go today.
Right. So if there's a fart sack, all the guys, you kind of penalize all the other guys because there's 5 burpees at the end of the workout. If somebody doesn't show up, it's 5 burpees for them not showing up. So you get to give them a little bit of crap as well because they made you after the workout was over, you have a little bit extra to do.
Yeah, if you have 2 or 3 guys not show up, you're like, okay, we're doing 15 burpees after a 45 or 60 minute
You're
workout.
sending us some messages, making some calls.
And we make sure everybody knows that they did not show up.
Yeah.
And the best thing is just to confess, and I've done it many times. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll do some burpees for you guys, but yeah.
Yeah, it's there's a sense of accountability. I feel like I don't know if I already talk about this, but the hard commit the day before is so important because you're committing to those guys to do it.
Yep.
And there's sometimes you just sleep through your alarm or whatever, and that fart sack, it still gives you that accountability. So you're still like thinking about it. Because you let yourself down a little bit, but more importantly, you let the other guys down, you know, and that's that kind of accountability. You don't get that at the gym because gym doesn't care if you show up or not. And in fact, they plan on you not showing up.
Yeah, exactly.
If everybody showed up at the gym that had a membership, they would need to quadruple the size of it. So they know that you're not going to. And with this, you really get that accountability with each other. So
I have to get that Slack channel.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not on
No.
Slack? Yeah. So again, Slack, just the app that we use. Once someone shows up, we invite them, and it's kind of our communication tool. And one of the everyone who's going to do lead and queue will put out a pre-blast. Say, hey, this is where we're going to meet this time. Do you need your coupon? Yes, no. As Schlitz said earlier, here's the weather. We don't care.
Yeah.
And then guys will say, yeah, I'm coming. So there's going to be 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 guys there. Like, okay, I got to show up because I'm going to support them. So it's really it's important. Some guys, hey, I'll bring coffee. I'll bring this. It's just a matter of just being there for one another. That's the best part about it.
It was really cool when at the end of our workout, Forrest Gump pulled out his coffee out of the bag. I was like, whoa, where'd this come out of? He had like cups for everybody and just pulling out his thermos. That was awesome.
Yeah, you should. Back in my truck, I've got flags and I've got shovels and I got cement bags and I've got coupons and coffee cups, and it's just my wife laughs because my entire bed in my truck is just F3 stuff. So we can just start. We can go do a workout now if we want to.
Yeah, and you don't have to bring a coupon because most of the time we have. Yep. You're going into Home Depot. I feel like you get a couple weird looks because you're walking out of Home Depot with 10 cinder blocks, and it's like, what are you going to do with 10 of those things? And
did you just go in and ask for them, or
they're in the back? Yeah,
okay,
they're
$1.86 per coupon. So I just keep them in my truck. So usually, and again, if someone shows up, then someone will always have an extra coupon.
Yeah.
And it's your parting gift. So did you get to take one home with you?
Yes, right. Yep.
So when you show up the first time, you got to bring it. Yeah. It's your parting gift, and you get to take it with you. So it's just some, and we got some guys that probably have coupons, cement blocks in their garage right now. And
it's an everyday reminder. Every time they walk by the cinder block,
I need to go back out. So
it's crazy how attached to a cinder block you get. And there's like guys know they know their cinder block. So if it's like, they know the markings on it. They know the chips that have come off of it. So when you have 10 or 15 of them sitting there, like, you know which one's yours.
I think of the movie Cast with Tom Hanks when he has the volleyball.
Totally. You've looked at that thing so often, you know which one's yours. You know how it feels. It's like riding a bike. You know which bike you like. And
in the middle of winter, guys will bring their cement blocks inside the house. So they're warm. So when they leave at 5 o'clock in the morning in the middle of winter, you're getting this thing.
You'd be surprised at how cold those things get when they're outside. They get really cold. So you're when you're working out with it, your hands, you can feel like if it's been outside, it does get cold. There are some guys that will bring it in because of that.
And there's some challenges. I mean, not only that, but I mean, if you're in the grass and it's 35 degrees out and it's wet, your hands are going to get a little cold.
Get cold and wet.
And it's pushes us. You're going to finish that workout going, I got a little cold today.
Yeah.
And I got a little wet, and I'll survive.
How awake are you by the end? You're not going back home and taking a nap, I'm sure, after the end.
And when you're done, it will most definitely, for the most part, be the hardest thing you did during the day.
I do find absolutely, and I find that like waking up that early, it's almost like it's a whole new day that I've been kind of wasting for a long time. And I told my daughter, because they're off school now, and I was like, she woke up at, I think it was 9:30, and I'm like, I've already been up for 5 hours. I'm going to set my alarm for 5 hours from now and show you how much time like that you've kind of, not that I wanted her to get up at 4:30.
Yeah.
But like that's the difference, right? Mm-hmm. So 5 hours later, I'm like, you were sleeping that entire time from the time we talked about that till now. And she's like, wow, I'm glad I slept.
Thanks, Dad, for showing me that.
Yeah. You're not waking me up, so don't even think about it.
But the exciting thing is, no matter who's listening to this, they'll fit it right in. It does. There is no excuse. You can't come up with an excuse for why you shouldn't show up. You'll get stronger. You'll become a better person. You'll become a better husband, father, grandfather, and you'll get healthier. And it was. I was listening to the original guys who found F3. I was listening to a podcast earlier today that they did a while ago, and the whole thing was, the question was why? Why? And it's all because, as Schlitz hit it, you have this community in college and high school, and then you get in your 20s and you get married, and then you get a little past that, and you're like, I'm getting sedentary, and I'm not accelerating. I'm not becoming better. I'm not becoming stronger. I'm not becoming a better person. And this is part of why we do this.
Yeah.
Because you've got to realize that. I said I'm 62, and I'll be doing this. I cannot tell you when I'll stop doing this, because they'll have to kick me out.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep moving.
It comes down to the move it or lose it thing, right? And
absolutely.
And there's a lot of, everybody has an excuse, like, oh, my knees hurt, and my knee does hurt, But if you don't keep going, you used to see those things where a lot of guys retire and then they're gone a couple, very soon after that.
Yep.
And they just stop.
Yep.
And you can't ever stop. And you have to. There's a reason that you can keep moving.
What is life when you do stop?
Right. Exactly.
I don't want to find out.
Yeah, I made it. I'm retired. I don't have a job. Now what do I do? It's like, there's nothing I can do.
Right. And in so many different aspects, right? Stopping learning, stopping working out, stopping whatever. It's like, you got to just keep yourself moving. And oftentimes it's hard to do that. It's hard to find a hobby. It's hard to find something that excites you. I'm sure, like, when you're retired and you're all of a sudden like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Right. And it's one of those things where this gives you the option to do whatever you would want to do, but you can't do that if you're just sitting. And that goes for so many, that goes for working age. It goes for young kids. A lot of people, they don't know how to work out.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to know how to work out. You just show up. Showing up is the hardest part.
Yep.
Showing up, getting up is the hardest part. And there's a fix for that too, because we keep each other accountable. That's why I try and HC. There's the little yellow and black HC button, and I try and do that as early in the day before as I can, because I know in my mind I'm gonna make up an excuse of why I can't make it the next day.
Yeah.
So I try and make it so that I hit it, takes that excuse away, and you keep moving. And I think a lot of guys are looking for that ability to, or someone to give them that little bit of a nudge.
Yep.
Like, just try it. Just get out and see what it's all about. Just go and.
And there's two pieces. There's what F3 talks about, the vertical and the horizontal pieces. The horizontal piece is getting alongside guys of like-mindedness. And so maybe that's getting coffee. Maybe that's hanging out at the fire pit. Maybe that's just grabbing pizza and getting together. It's a matter of you've got, and what the F3 group calls is called a shield lock. So as you get a few guys, maybe 3, 4, or 5 guys together, you become even a smaller group inside the subset of F3. But the vertical piece is mentoring, mentee piece of this is the fact that even though I'm 62, I can hang out with a guy who's 23.
Yeah.
I can share things with him. I can learn things from him. It's just a matter of being able to support one another in that role. And it's crosses race, age, physical fitness, finance. It doesn't make a difference how you grew up, family of origin stuff. It's just a matter of just being better. and becoming better. I am definitely a better person because of F3 and because of the guys that I was with in St. Louis and that he was in Chicago, and now the guys were here. I did not move here knowing any of these guys, and now I can just
cool.
Now I can just show up, and if I'm walking down the street and someone sees this and it's like it's an immediate brother.
Oh, absolutely.
Because first thing you say, what's your F3 name? You
Yeah.
know? I don't care what your real name is. Hey, because if I see someone with another F3 shirt, I'm Dinghy, and it's just a whole different culture. And again, you don't have to really know them. And as I said, if we travel and we go on vacation and we just go to works that just show up, and you've got a bunch of brothers.
And really, we just it's in the beginning stages here. There's a lot of places across the country that have a much more mature base of things, and it's just starting here. So it's exciting. Like there's room for everybody to be a leader. There's room for everybody to start and grow. An AO, and it doesn't have to be like Canton just started. And there's really no stop, because the best thing is if you're within 5 minutes of your house, right? Back in Chicago, it's a lot more concentrated. So, you can have an AO like less than a half a mile from the next one, and they'll be full. And right now we're a little bit spread out, but as we grow and as guys come on and as there's a need, start putting in, this is free.
There's so much capability.
There's so much opportunity, right? As guys show up, it's like anywhere can be an AO, and you can use so many things to work out with that you just don't even think about. Whether it be just a hill, you'd be surprised at how effective hills can be with a coupon.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. It's stairs. There's stairs everywhere. Like there's a playground equipment everywhere. So. There's really no limit to where this can get. And if you look at some of the places that are more mature, the amount of guys that they have in them, like there's a lot of opportunity. So there's a lot of opportunity for growth, for leadership, for guys to get involved. It's exciting. And the great thing about F3 is it's not led by any one person. It's led by every single person there. So we are not, it's not like one of us is saying, hey, I'm leading this group and I'm going to make, all of these things you have to run through me. That's not what it is. It's that everybody is a leader, and we're fostering that male leadership. And so we want to have this grow, and for really no other reason than how it's affected our lives. And I think that's really important.
That's huge.
There's nothing like selfish about this other than it has made my life better, and it can make whoever wants to make that change in life, it can make their lives better. And it costs nothing other than your own effort. And it's really us getting out there for not only for ourselves, but other guys. And, that's the thing that makes the biggest difference. And a lot of our COTs are kind of about that. Like, this is about all of us and us making each other better. And so if there's, that happened up in Fenton, where there were some guys that were coming from further west, and it's like, hey, they want, a spot a little bit closer to their house. Like, there's opportunity here. Let's open up an AO here. And, the guys in there's Clarkston, Rochester, Canton. There's so many places around Michigan that are ripe for the pickings, that have just that opportunity is there. And we just need guys to come out and want to do it, and that's just it. Guys who want to lead, who want to make a difference, who want to make themselves better, make their communities better, know maybe one other guy.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. It's hard to do it by yourself, but you don't have to do it by yourself anymore. We're all here. I'm willing to, to drive however long it takes to get something started. So the opportunity is there. And I know when I moved here from Geneva, there was guys that were like, start it so that I can come out there. I will help you. We'll show up. And that's how we are here.
That's so cool.
It doesn't matter where you're at in Michigan. You want to start one. So if anybody is listening to this anywhere in Michigan, you want to start one, just let us know. I will drive. I will help you get it started. I don't care if it's a couple hours away. Like, we'll make it happen. We'll get it started.
That's so cool.
Yeah, because it really is not. It doesn't do anything for like we're not gaining anything.
Yeah.
Except
for the fact that it's changed your life and you want to help other people get to that same point.
Exactly.
Experience the same thing you've experienced.
Absolutely. And I know how hard it is for other guys. And I know how important it is. And that sense of community, I feel like in today's world is lost a little bit. There's a lot of times where people don't even know their own neighbors. And that changes when you make a change.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of do that. And that's kind of what this does. It gives you that platform to go out and talk to other guys. Like you said, like, how do you bring other guys on? It's really just through talking to other guys, inviting them, like letting them know how much it's changed your life, and give it a shot. It might change yours. And maybe somebody where it can change theirs, and you really just kind of, run with it.
Swiffer's been telling me about it for months, and it's just, again, when it changes people's lives, and especially a guy like Swiffer, who is so like
he is on
engaging
fire,
and on fire when he's passionate about something. Like I define a difference maker as someone, when they shine their light, they set the world around them on fire, and that's Robert. Swiffer,
absolutely,
100%. And so he's been like, he'll scream about F3 to the top of his lungs, almost to the point where you're like, is this a cult? But again, going back to the reason being is when it's so impactful and it's changed your life, you just want to let other people know so they can change their life too, especially when it's free, when it's nothing that it's not a selfish reason. It's being able to spread and help other men grow.
When Schlitz said, there's really nothing in it for us, but to me, there is a little something. It's like when you see somebody change, when you see someone show up, like they're coming out of their cocoon and they're growing, they're getting stronger and they're getting more confident. It's huge.
Yeah.
And you were saying Bronco, guy went down, I think, North Carolina, visit family, and they took him to an F3 workout. And he's like, oh, this is so cool. He comes back up. He lives over in Canton. And he reached out to me and goes, well, what do I got to do? I want to start this right now. I brought this up at my church group, and they're all over it. So I said, when do you want to start? So I did what you said. I went over, led the first workout. I think we had 8 guys just show up. I'd never done it before. And they're meeting every Saturday now over in Canton.
That's awesome.
And they'll expand. They'll add a couple of days, but they're starting slow. And it's just taken off. So it's really kind of cool.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. This has been an awesome conversation. But again, it's to wrap up, it's ways to grow and change your life. In just, you talked about like impacting your families, impacting your community, changing and growing as an individual. And there's been so many stories you both have shared that have demonstrated that. And just even the one that's so powerful is thinking of a man that's never led before that is now put in that position. How does he change and impact his family? Well, just that confidence and that growth alone, if he can lead, especially some strong-willed men, what can he do when he leaves there? And so, man, guys, this is so amazing. I'm so glad that Swiffer brought you guys on.
We are too. We appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, I would, again, any guys out there that want to join, a couple of different ways, just go f3nation.com, under locations, just zoom in to Brighton, zoom into the local area, and there's little locations will show you. You click on it, it'll tell you where we work out, when we work out.
6 days a week.
6 days a week. And usually someone's coming up on it with a hike or something, or a ruck or something on a Sunday as well.
All right, so 6 days a week. And then they can also email us at semichigan at gmail.com.
Or Facebook.
F3
Southeast Michigan.
Okay.
Again, just send us a message on that. And we'll glad to get back to you. Just show up. Love to have you.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Thanks,
My
sir.
pleasure.
Appreciate
it.
the invite.
Absolutely.